All right, fellers, this is a game. This is a game called World of Warcraft. Is irrelevant. This what I meant to say is this is a video called "The State of Cinemassacre and AVGN in 2020" by Dancing with Ghosts. I'm actually interested in watching it. I've been watching, so I watched I think all the Monster Movie Madnesses from I guess James. I wouldn't call him the angry video game nerd. I watched his recent Doom videos, not too bad. I like Angry Video Game Nerd. If you look back now and watch some of his old videos, they are incredibly cringe, especially like the intros and stuff. But back then they were fun. I remember when I was younger, I was like, "This is awesome. This is fun," and it was cool for the time. It just aged a little less than stellar, but it's still great. I love the guy. He still makes solid content. He's matured. You know what I mean? And I appreciate the. I appreciate the maturing because you know what? Even if he doesn't get the same views now, who cares? Like. He's matured. He's a person. He's not trying to stay stuck in the past. Like, who wants to see somebody grow into their 30s and 40s and 50s and like maintain this content they did the same way 20 years ago? It just comes off as incredibly cringe. So I like the Angry Video Game Nerd. I still like the content he puts out. I still watch it from time to time. He's a cool dude. So let's get going.
So I've noticed what's up, everybody? So I've noticed in the last, I don't know, few weeks, there's been a lot of activity on my channel in regards to all the Rex Viper videos I made, the AVGN video I made, a lot of people commenting, it's back in the algorithms for some reason, and then it occurred to me that like, oh yeah, what's up, everyone? My name of a year since all the controversy happened, since the plagiarism, the Rex Viper, all that.
Oh, I know about the plagiarism. I think he had a writer who like plagiarized for one of his like Monster Movie Madness videos, actually. And then they immediately took it down when they realized it. And he's like, yeah, I'm really sorry. It wasn't like that big of a deal. Not much of a controversy. It's kind of interesting what passes for a controversy when you're not very controversial.
So maybe the algorithms are doing some weird, smiling upon my old videos and showing it to more people. So I thought, I was like, let me just take a look at what does Cinemassacre look like in 2022? Because
okay, cool.
I'm
down for
at the channel directly. I just watch the AVGN videos when they pop up whenever I have time, because that's really all I've ever come there for.
I mean, yeah, me too. Like usually they'll come up in my my algorithm. Shit, that joke would have been funnier back 10, 15 years ago. Anyway, yeah, me too. But I like his stuff. Sometimes I'll actually, every once in a while I'll like actively go back and try to and I'll try to like watch them in my algorithm specifically. You know what I mean? I'll make like an effort to go, or excuse me, I'll make an effort to go back and like watch the old Video Game Nerd because it's cool. Like it's an enjoyable experience. You know what I mean? I like watching the old cringe stuff. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope stuff.
All the other stuff never really interested me that much. So we'll take a look at that. And yeah, this is Dancing with Ghosts. So let's start with that video he released in January 2022 where he's talking about his love for VHS tapes. Ooh. I like videos like these when he does these little one-offs that don't really have anything to do with anything. He's done these before with like, I remember for the Sega Genesis versus the Super Nintendo video, he was not in character as the nerd. He just wanted to do a video comparing the two consoles.
Yeah, I like that too, only because like the nerd character, it's a little old. I like it when he calls it Angry Video Game Nerd because I know what he's gonna do. But the character's a little cringe. You know what I mean? Like James is your typical band geek, or theater geek. That's really what it is, and that's fine. You know what I mean? It's cool. But we already know theater geeks are nerd losers. You know what I'm saying? But I like nerd losers. They're cool. They're cool guys.
I guess one could argue the chronologically confused videos aren't necessarily related to video games. I mean, he did one about Rocky. So, I mean, when he does these kind of videos,
they're fun.
I enjoy them. So, I enjoyed watching
I appreciate the
risk
he takes.
And, when James is
or,
off script,
like, just doing something a little different. People get so boring sometimes, and, like, they're afraid to, like, do anything that's outside of the norm. And then it gets kind of, like, boring to me. I like it when content creators make, like, risky moves sometimes, do stuff that's a little bit different that may not necessarily appeal to, like, their entire audience. I just kind of appreciate it, personally. And that's the kind of content that maybe isn't for everybody, but that's okay that it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, as a content creator, you should focus on just making content. Can you fucking heal me, you idiot? Sometimes it's about just making content, dude. Hold on. In general, sometimes the content that you make isn't supposed to, like, it doesn't have to be for everybody. Like the content that I have the best reception on is content that doesn't get the most views. because like my hardcore fans will like, oh, I like this. It's something that they like more. You know what I mean? It's something that people don't think about enough.
Script. He's really bad at communication.
We really want to go to hell. We can pull it off.
You can see this in the podcast that they did where he, you know, most of the Screenwave guys were doing most of the talking, or whether it was rental reviews, or even James and Mike Monday, which a lot of people really like, but I always just felt like Mike Matei did most of the heavy lifting in terms of like the conversation and talking and everything.
I'll say one thing. I'm not a big fan of Mike Matei, okay? Not a big fan of the guy, personally. But you know what? I still like that James has him in videos because it's his friend. And again, like he's making content that he's enjoying and they're doing well. Mike is just a little cringe to me. Not a bad guy. I'm just not a particular fan, but that's okay. That's just me personally.
But when James...
He's probably a cool guy in person, you know? But, you know.
His on script, I think he's one of the best, honestly. I love his scripted narrations about, you know, whatever he's talking about, whether it's a video game or a movie or behind the scenes thing or whatever. So I thought it was a good video. But it was at the end. It was like the last 20 seconds where he basically buried the indicator that the channel was going in a different direction. So check it out.
I'm happy to have been able to preserve it through my videos. I love being able to share this stuff. I hope to be able to do this as long as I can. This channel is all about remembering a simpler time. And if that's the kind of stuff you want to see, well, stay tuned.
He was really trying to drive that point home with that kind of semi-cheesy string music that was a little much, but yeah, I think he was really trying to indicate that, hey, look, I know I fucked up. I know the channel has lost its focus and its quality because I've let all these other strangers come in and basically take over, and you know, as far as them being involved on camera from now on, like those days are over. And it's like, thank God you figured it out, James Bimmy. You did it. You figured out that nobody gives a flying fuck about these Screenwave slobs, and they from my knowledge, unless I've missed something.
What is he talking about? Like, what is it that people were so disgruntled with? Like, I'm not understanding. I figured people just kind of move on in content. Like, what was the big issue with the Angry Video Game Nerd? Like, I don't. Where does all the hate come from? Like, I understand the old stuff is a little cringe when you look back, but like, what? This feels like disproportionate fucking hatred.
Something they have not been on screen for any of the videos in 2022. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely say Cinemassacre as a whole has improved, not because of what they added, but what they've taken away. First off, let's start off with that god-awful podcast where you have, yet again, these Screenwave guys on there who are doing most of the talking and interacting with James like they're all good friends, like they're trying to copy the Kyle Justin and Mike Matei formula, but it's totally fake and phony and forced. That's been canceled. And then you have...
Why are you such a dick? I think it's cool to do a podcast, man. Like, if you're having fun with your friends. I mean, maybe he's just saying... It sounds like he's trying to say that it felt forced. It's just, he's so rude about it. I don't understand, bro.
Rental Reviews, which has been canceled, which is another thank God, because, you know, James just... yeah. Well, everyone else is doing all the talking. And then, you know, just any of the other little one-off things that they would have on the channel where it would be Kieran and Justin doing some VR thing, and it's just like, who cares? This is the thing, man. I know I've done a lot of videos making fun of the Screenwave slobs or whatever, and even the name Screenwave slobs is obviously a derogatory term. But the thing is like, you have to look at the juxtaposition here. In one corner, you have James Rolfe, who is undebatably the YouTuber that I've watched for the longest amount of time, for almost 10 years now. He's brought me a lot of free entertainment and joy, made me get into becoming a YouTuber myself, has garnered a cult following of thousands upon thousands of fans because of his great and consistent work. And then in this corner, you have 3 or 4 unknown, slobby, no aesthetic whatsoever, just nobodies.
What is this video
that I've never fucking heard of? And they're just in all the videos. And it's just...
Why? It is so rude. If I get like the whole concept of like, you know, dude, this content's really not for me. I like James as a content creator, but I don't really like these guys. I don't know who they are. But he's just like these fat fucking pieces of shit. Why? Why are you such a dick? I don't understand, dude. I feel like sometimes there's a little bit of an entitlement from viewers that gets a little annoying, where it's like people feel entitled to... Everybody has the right to like comment and stuff, and people feel like entitled to everything staying exactly how they want it, and that's kind of like an annoying thing, especially like as a content creator, or I guess like a journey for a content creator. It's a little frustrating because there's a lot of different things that I I don't know. There's a lot of different variables when it comes to making content, and one of those variables is like, do I enjoy making the content anymore? And like, you know, it's cool to be like, hey, listen, I don't like your content anymore. But holy fuck, some people are just so fucking toxic. It's crazy. I feel like this is like a little toxic, bro. You know?
Just like, wait, excuse me. What is your name again? Who are you? Why should I care? This legend is not saying anything. You guys are doing all the talking. What the fuck is going on? And so that's why there's so much anger from me about these guys. And they're forming bands now. And it's just like Mike Matei and Kyle Justin and James were all legitimately friends, especially James and Mike.
Okay.
There was a authenticity to their interactions and their friendship. And that was seen in things such as Board James. And I mean, even with the fans with Mike Matei, it took them forever to accept Mike into the fold because everyone was just so fixated on James.
Because Mike sucked, dude. Mike's annoying. I hate fucking Mike. I don't hate Mike. It's just his forehead. You know what I mean, man? I don't know. Maybe I guess I'm just the same. I'm just this guy. He's literally me. Am I right? Just the same dude, you know?
But it eventually happened, and you know what? I mean, despite all of his weird bullshit that he did on the side, I really...
What is that? Wait, the weird bullshit. I think that's he showed people his penis. I was watching a different Angry Video Game Nerd video somewhat recently, and I think what happened is everybody made a joke that this guy, Mike, had a huge wiener, so he, like, showed everybody. I don't know if it's big or not. I personally don't give a shit. So I think that's what he's referring to. Like, is that what he means? That's kind of funny if you think about it.
I liked Mike. I thought he was fucking hilarious as Bugs Bunny and the Joker in the actual AVGN episodes. Like, just that over-the-top, just cheesy acting was fucking hilarious to me. It still is to this day. Like, Kyle was in a couple episodes of The Nerd, but it totally made sense because he wrote the fucking theme song. You know? And then Bootsy was a beloved character in Board James, but I didn't really watch Board James, so I can't really speak on that. But, yeah, so it's like... It was so organic that, like, you didn't mind, and it made sense that there would be a James and Mike Mondays. No one was going, wait, who the fuck's Mike? Everyone knew who Mike was.
Okay.
They're trying to replicate that with all this Screenwave bullshit with these podcasts and these rental reviews, but it's like, you've established nothing with any of these people. They are not your friends. They are your...
So, like, it's not... listen, this guy isn't super, like, in-depth. Are these other content creators that James decided to, like, collaborate with? Maybe that's what it is? Like, it makes sense, even if he's not super close to them. I mean, I understand that the energy might not be there the way that you want it. But I mean, if they're like other creators, maybe he was just trying like something out, like a little bit of a risk. Like, oh, let me make some content with such and such, you know? I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Your corporate buddies, that is a business relationship only. Like, they...
Yeah, but what's necessarily wrong with that? Like, they're it sounds like they experimented with doing a podcast together because they're all like personalities in some capacity. And it just it didn't work out. The flow didn't work out. What's wrong with that? Like, why yell? Why are you yelling? Why are you yelling, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's no authenticity there, and nobody cares about who they are or what the fuck they have to say. I'm sorry, but that's the general consensus. There might be a few fans out there for some of these guys, but they are few and far between. So anyway, going back to reviewing the AVGN Cinemassacre channel in 2022. I did not watch most of the videos on there. I just mainly watched the AVGN episodes. I did see the Rocky video. It was a little hokey, but I mean, honestly, I really enjoyed it. And it just, I don't know. James seems like his spirit is back to a certain degree. You know, I mean, is he ever going to be able to summon up that youthful anger to yell at some old video game again? No, I don't think so. And I think all of the angry video game episodes going forward will suffer from the fact that there's just no way he's getting that upset anymore about video games. I just think he's like, okay, time to record another AVGN episode. This game's a shitload of fuck, you know? If you go back and watch those early episodes, there is like rage in his voice legitimately. Like, he's legitimately like, jump, come on, why won't you fucking get on the ledge or whatever. And it's just like, he just doesn't get that angry anymore. It's not as convincing, but that doesn't mean that they're not good. I'll go through them here in a second. Let me just say, the 200th episode that, you know, everyone was making a big to-do about over there on the Cinemassacre camp. I just thought
there's some real hardcore AVGN fans here, huh? Jesus Christ. I didn't think that there were people who complained this much about fucking angry video game nerd.
It was like a very tedious episode. The idea was like, not, I mean, okay, he's got this war with LJN, and so the 200th episode is going to be about yet more LJN content. It's like, haven't we heard enough about fucking LJN? And I thought it was
not.
I thought it was a tedious watch. I mean, he was going through every LJN game on the original Nintendo, and it's like, dude, we've already seen a lot of these episodes, and he would just
Well, I mean, how much are you able to do with old fucking video games? There's only so many of them. It's not like they're remaking old video games. Like, what the fuck? I mean, I guess he could do newer old video games, right? I guess that's how you classify that. I don't know. I didn't see it. Maybe it was just boring, but like, if your fundamental issue is the subject matter, it's fucking old video games. How much can you really do? Like, you can't really do too much, right? But hey, what do I know?
Like the games that he's already done, he would just insert those clips into the show, into the 200th episode. So now I'm having to rewatch all these reviews that I've already seen 100 times each, you know, back in the day, because I was such a huge AVGN fan, and it was just like, oh god, it was a slog to get through for sure. But anyway, now heading into 2022, after the VHS video, we get The Last Ninja, which was pretty cool because it was like, I guess, some bonus footage on one of his DVDs from the past of a review that never made it onto Cinemassacre, or was it Screw Attack, which then moved on to YouTube or whatever. So we get to see a young James, and then he kind of transitions in the video to old, like, current James, who was finishing the review, and that was pretty cool. And the game itself was genuinely,
that sounds
like,
kind of
looked
cool.
really bad.
I might want to watch
that
that
for a good nerd episode, when the game, like, genuinely
offline,
like just you can see with your own eyes how, man, this game looks broken as hell. Then in April, he released Contra and how he remembered it, which was a pretty good video. I mean, who doesn't like Contra? And it's nice to get James's
I don't like Contra. I played before. You know, it's one of those things where if you haven't really grown up with the game, they're not very good. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have the nostalgia factor. Probably just like World of Warcraft. It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things.
Take on games that are good, and how he, like, kind of dissects it, and like the various characteristics of that particular game, like the Mario 3 video where he's actually talking about how it's actually a great game, and he kind of breaks it down or whatever. In June, we get Per Pals on Wii, which I literally only watched about halfway through when I decided that, like, yeah, this is not the content that I came for. So.
Well, don't you think that's like a little hypocritical almost, though? Because like I didn't watch the video because I was like, this isn't. Well, I feel the similarly. I feel a similar way. It seems a little too new, but you were just complaining. It's like, oh, we've already done this before when it came to the LJN videos. But it's like, how much can you really do with old video games? You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. You know, that's what I mean, brother. Like, how much can you really do? I mean, you can only really kind of rehash stuff. So it's like, you know, I mean, it's like, oh, this is too old. I don't like this. We've done this before. Oh, this is too new. I don't like this. We haven't done this before. Kind of puts James in a little bit of a precarious situation, doesn't it? Yeah.
So I just kind of like, yeah, that video was not good. He skips 2 whole months, and then he drops Hudson Hawk in late August. And this was where I really started noticing James's receding hairline. I know it's the fucking elephant in the room when you watch.
I feel like it's not that. I feel like it's not an elephant in the room. I feel like he did it on purpose as part of like the new character. His hairline's probably receding, but he probably did that just to accentuate it. So
that video, that was the one where, like, everyone in the started this huge comment thread, and everyone was just commenting on it. Like, my God, dude, like, it's getting distracting at this point. Like, you know, it's really getting to that point to where, like, you either got to shave it off or just because James is so meticulous about the nerd character, right? So like, he's gonna have to make an episode where he like writes in a bit where a game is so bad that it causes James to lose his hair completely, and from there on out, he'll always have a shaved head, you know, because that game was just so bad. He's probably
what a pedantic criticism. It's fucking balding. You have a problem with it? It's so fucking weird. Sorry guys, I'm just coping because I'm bald. That just seems like such a weird fucking criticism, bro.
I think
it's part of the character, honestly. Okay.
But I mean, like Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic, at least Doug Walker always wore a hat anyway. So when he lost his hair, it wasn't as noticeable because he was still wearing the hat anyway. And he even did write an entire episode of Nostalgia Critic. I forget what the movie was, but basically, like, because the characters in the movie were bald, like, it gave him an excuse to also be bald for the character that he was going to play.
Okay.
And they just were like, oh, wow, what happened to your hair? And he's like, don't worry about it. They just kind of played it down. And then every episode after that, he just had a shaved head, and they've just never really made much of a fuss about it after that. But yeah, that's something he's definitely going to have to deal with. But anyway, Hudson.
I feel like that's a weird criticism. I also feel like there's a difference between like a receding hairline and balding. So why shave your whole fucking head if you just have like a, I don't know. It's just like a weird criticism.
Hawk, it was a very middling review. It was one that you might find back in the day when James didn't have the time to do like a high production video, so he would do like a video where he mainly just showed game footage, narrated, did a little bit of couch shots, and you know, that was pretty much it.
Hey,
that's kind of what this review was like. But you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I don't know, some of my favorite episodes by him back in the day were the lower production value ones. In fact, some of my least favorite AVGN episodes are the high production ones, like the one with Gilbert Gottfried, or the Christmas one that everyone hates with like that everything is smashable in the room that they're in, and they got that goofy guy who I guess was some kind of stunt actor. I don't know who the guy was, but he apparently has some kind of credentials in Hollywood.
Okay.
And then, I mean, I know James always cites this video as like loving it, but that Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas video, I could not give two shits about. Like, I think he got a little, I think he went a little overboard there on that one, but that's just me. The last AVGN video was dropped just in time for Halloween, very recent.
This doesn't really feel like a state of the Angry Video Game Nerd video. This kind of just seems like I'm complaining about Angry Video Game. I thought I was going to come into this video, I'm like, okay, let's see what we got here. And I guess I make videos like this, too. It's just a little different from what I was expecting, I suppose.
And he's talking about all the Doom games. And, you know, even though that idea is a little stale at this point, because I feel like everybody pretty much knows at this point that Doom's been ported to everything, and I'm sure there's been a lot of other lesser video game.
No, not everybody knows that. It's like one of those examples like I was talking about. Like, bro, like just so you know, like you're not. This is so for me. That was a cool video, the Doom one. I had never seen it before. It was just about it was about the Doom games and like how they were ported to different ways, and it was like a fun little video. Like I enjoyed it. I didn't know shit about Doom. Like I'm not fucking sitting here looking up old video game shit all the time. It seems like people who are like really into video games might know this information, but not everybody knows it. So I thought it was fun. I liked it. I enjoyed the video.
Creators out there who have done this idea. So the fact that this would be even like something that AVGN would have done, it seems a little stale, but it was still a really good video.
Bro, see what I'm saying, dude? What did I say before? It's stale because it's been done. It's fucking retro video games. There's nothing you can do. There's a limited like resource pool. So you're like, I want you to do other content. He does like the content that's like within the realm that you want to see. Old classic video games. And you're like, oh, this is stale. It's been done. No shit. He's made so many videos. But then he makes a new video, the fucking Pur Pals or whatever. Like, I don't like that. Probably because it's a newer game. Like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, there's only so much. Like, you have to realize that there's only so much people can fucking do here. You know, you can't do that much. There's only so much to do.
It really like harken back to the good higher production videos he used to do, like the one with the Super Mecha Death Christ one, or those kind of you know, using his graphic talents, you know, but keeping it small, but still keeping it really interesting.
Okay.
He's going through all the Doom games, and as I'm watching it, I'm like, man, this feels so like. I know he did the Atari Jaguar one, but it just feels like such an idea he's already done. But it was still good, though. It was still good. It was a good episode.
Sound like you
I
liked
enjoyed
it very
it.
much.
I don't watch Monster Madness, so I can't really compare that to how it is now to how it was. Hopefully they fixed that plagiarizing problem. Pretty sure they did, because somebody would have called him out by now if they haven't. Because
it was a one-time thing where he had like a writer, because he was doing. I think he would usually do one video a day in like in October, the Monster Movie Menace, I believe. And they had somebody who plagiarized something, and it was shitty, and they took care of it. Like, it's not a problem that's consistent. It happened one time. What the fuck?
Their fans are very meticulous. So, I mean, I would say at the end of the day, the right changes were made, and, you know, the channel is back where it should be. And, you know, I don't just make videos to tear things down. I point out problems that I see. And when someone makes the right decision, I call that out, too. And I think that everything's felt a lot more, I guess, sounds so corny, but more soulful, I guess, because it felt soulless for a very long time. And now it feels like some of the soul is coming back. So, like, I hope that, you know, things stay like this. And, you know, I know the Screenwave guys are still involved, but as long as they're not on camera and as long as they're not opening their mouths to, you know, contribute their opinions, then I'm perfectly fine with them helping James out with the production. I don't feel that James has to physically play every video game and physically do every single thing for it to be a good episode. I just don't want to see the Screenwave guys on screen, and I don't want to hear them talking. And
this feels like a very entitled review, but okay.
Seems like they fixed that, but he is going to have to find an angle for that baldness thing, man, because the cul-de-sac male pattern baldness that's starting to get really distracting. Anyway, what do you think?
Okay.
Do you think it's just fucked and it's never going to be as good again? Because after the movie, it just everything was ruined, and I still think that theory is crazy that people think the movie ruined everything. Let me know in the comments below, and floating around me here, I've done a bunch of videos on AVGN. This will be my 4th one at this point. So make sure you check those out. And yeah, until then, have a good rest of your night.
We really want to go to hell. We could pull it off.
Yeah, I felt like that. Hey, listen, God bless you. You're reviewing your shit. I just felt like that was a little bizarre. I felt like some of those criticisms were a little silly, a little sussy, a little goofy even. That's how I feel.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.